Welcome to Money Monkey, a series of videos about money and all of its uses. Today we are going to be talking about what money is. Quick caveat here, I've worked in financial services for over 25 years in senior management functions across the industry. These videos are designed to give you information and not advice. I want these videos to make you curious about money and give you some ideas on how best you can make it work for you. Everyone is different, and what works for me will not work for anyone else. This is not advice. It is simply a collection of thoughts that might help you be better informed about money, its uses, and the financial ecosystem. So, money. What is it, and what makes money money? What is money? Money has many different uses and means many different things to different people, but today we'll be looking at money in the way that most people use it every day, as a method or medium of exchange. This is the mechanism that allows us to trade for goods and services as we need them. For this purpose, money comes in different forms, but the one we generally think of as money is a form of fiat money. Other types of money include commodity money, fiduciary money, and most common of all, commercial bank money. What then is fiat money? The term fiat comes from the Italian. Loosely translated, it means let it be done. Fiat money has in itself no real value. It literally isn't worth the paper it's printed on, or the cost of the metal used to mint it. As an example, in 2021, a 1-cent coin cost 2.1 cents to manufacture, and a $5 bill cost 10.9 cents to manufacture. The opposite of fiat money is commodity money, which derives its value from the underlying value of the commodity. The value of fiat money comes from the common agreement that it has value. If you and I both agree that a $5 bill is worth $5 and you're willing to trade $5 of goods or services for a $5 note because you know the next guy will do the same, then the note itself is worth $5. What does all that mean? The way in which fiat money works is that the agreement that the note is worth $5 isn't just between you and me and the next guy along, it's between you and everyone else, particularly the government. Governments underpin the value of fiat money by accepting it in taxes and fines and by paying it in salaries and for goods and services. If the US government decided that it was withdrawing the $100 bill from circulation, the physical $100 bill in your pocket would have no value, as no one would accept it to pay for goods and services. This has happened in real life, most recently in 2016. The Indian government demonetized the 500 and 1,000 rupee note, causing significant upheaval and cash shortages in the short term. So what makes money money? Fiat money has 5 essential characteristics that allow for it to be used as a mechanism for trade. It must be divisible to a determinable unit, it must be universally accepted, it must be limited in its manufacture, it must be durable in nature, and it must be movable and utilitarian. Divisible to a determinable unit. Currency must be able to be divided to a minimum amount. Imagine then that the lowest value currency you have is a $50 bill. How would you pay for anything that was worth less? Tear the bill in half or in quarters? Or would everything be revalued up so that it was calculated against the lowest denominated form of currency? The Spanish dollar was worth 8 Spanish reals. The dollar was recognized as a valuable currency because of the consistency in the minting process and the coin's universality of acceptance. It was, however, a considerable sum of money and would often be cut in half or quarters or eighths to make lower valued yet still a determinable unit. Even today in the United States, the 25 cent is called a 2-bit because 25 cents is 2/8 of a Spanish real dollar. These pieces of 8 were widely used across many countries for hundreds of years and have passed into legend, thanks in part to the fascination of piracy. The Reserve Bank of Australia is, to my knowledge, the only central bank that will give partial value for damaged notes. For example, if you turn up with half an Australian $10 note, they will exchange it for a clean Australian $5 note. Universally accepted. So why does a fiat currency need to be universally accepted, I hear you ask? Imagine you go to work and your employer decides to pay you in a currency that is only redeemable at the company store. You can only pay your rent in company money, so you can only rent from the company. You have no freedom of movement, no ability to change jobs, move areas, or have any real decision-making ability. This happened throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, ostensibly because governments were not printing enough money, but it became a useful tool of business owners to control their workforce. As recently as 2019, Walmart Mexico was ordered to stop paying part of their wages of their employees in vouchers only redeemable at Walmart. So the government ensures that the currency used within their borders is universally accepted by outlawing payment in the form of company scrip and by accepting payment of taxes and fines and paying for services and goods in an accepted currency. Limited in its manufacture. Imagine a world where you could print your own money. Everyone would be a millionaire, right? No. Douglas Adams summed up the situation best in his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Since we decided a few weeks ago to adopt the leaf as legal tender, we have, of course, all become immensely rich. But we've also run into a small inflation problem on account of the high level of leaf availability, which means that the current going rate is something like 3 deciduous forests buying 1 ship's peanut. So, in order to obviate this problem and effectively revalue the leaf, we are about to embark on a massive defoliation campaign and burn down all the forests. I think you'll agree that that's a very sensible move under the circumstances. An increase in the supply of money does not equate to an increase in economic output. Therefore, everything would be revalued on a minute-by-minute basis. For examples of hyperinflation, see Germany in the 1920s and in Zimbabwe in the 2000s. Governments will also will also use security measures like special minting processes, inks, papers, holograms, and detailed engravings to prevent counterfeiting. All this limits the manufacture of a currency. Money must be durable in nature. If you cannot rely on currency to maintain its integrity and consistency, there is a lack of faith in the physical currency. Metal coins and much cheaper polymer notes have become the standard for currency around the world. Currency that degrades or is easily damaged will quickly lose its value as individuals cannot rely on it. During World War II, it was common for a commodity currency such as cigarettes to be used in prisoner of war camps. There are obvious problems with this, from people smoking them to weather, pest, the maintenance of their value as they age and go stale, etc. Movable and utilitarian. Finally, fiat money must be something that you have with you when you need to pay for goods or services and be something that you can easily pass to the person providing you with goods or services. If you are unable to identify that you have the means to buy goods or services and you cannot transfer ownership at the point of sale from one individual to another, you would have to agree a notional or conceptual transfer of the money, and things would soon become very confused. There are many examples of unusual types of money, but the most unwieldy must be the rice stones of the island of Yap in Micronesia. The largest of these stones is nearly 4 meters in height and it weighs 4,000 kilos. Not the most functional currency when paying for your morning coffee. In summary, although the money we use every day might have no intrinsic value, it does have value through common agreement. Not everything can be used as money. If we want to use an object or a concept for money, it must have 5 basic attributes. It must be divisible to a minimum reasonable determinable unit. It must be universally accepted insofar as possible. It must be limited in its manufacture. This includes being controlled by a single issuer and protected from being counterfeited. It must be durable in nature and give users confidence, and it must be movable and utilitarian so that it is practical. Is that all there is to it? No. No, it's not. There are many aspects of money I haven't discussed. This includes things like how foreign exchange works, how the mechanism for digital money is maintained, cryptocurrency, what happens when society loses faith in a currency or currency values dramatically shift, social and political effects on the system. Some of these we'll cover in future videos. So what's next? In the next video, we'll look at why we need to use this tool in the first place. Why do we need money? Can't we just barter for what we need or work in a cooperative